What's up, everybody? It's your boy T Beard. I'm back. Happy Halloween, motherfuckers. It is I'm here with the Weekly Ritual Rock and Metal News Show everywhere on the web. Oh, my Spotify started playing for no good reason. But anywho, I'm glad to be back. It's that time of the week we do the Rock and Metal News. If this is your first time here, check us out at ghostcoldmath.com for all your needs. This is part of my merch drop show off later, but super stoked to have this Wolfman mask. Anybody who knows me knows I'm particularly crazy about the goddamn Wolfman. My favorite universal monster. Um, the best experience for this show is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. We're also hanging out on TikTok. We'll drop the tip menu in a second if you're feeling tipsy. That's cool. I appreciate it. And yeah, this is your show too. So chime in and let's talk about whatever you want to talk about, as well as whatever I want to talk about. Let's do it. I have my exceptional cover image here of me. Look at that. That's sticky, huh? Nice. It was when I was Fred Durst for Halloween a few years ago. Lots of fun. Good times in San Francisco. I have almost lived here for 5 years. It's kind of crazy. Halloween is always a big celebration here in the town. I hope it is for you too. Coming on. Every day there's a new one, so always tuning in. Let's do the damn thing. I don't know how long I can actually operate the show with this mask, but we're doing our best. All right. As usual, we start this thing with the announcements. Thanks to everybody who entered our giveaway for the cult. The concert is tonight. We gave away 5 pairs of tickets to see the cult in LA. What probably purports to be their final show for a long time. Certainly the end of the cult and death cult tour. So the cult, death cult, failure, and Israel tonight. Shout out to Golden Boys who partnered with us for this. It was a lot of fun. And we'll be giving away more things next week, so stay tuned. Some bummer news. It's kind of hard to deliver bad and sad news with this mask on, but incredible jazz drummer Jack DeJohnette died this week after a long illness. We usually start the show with the announcements, and unfortunately, we usually start with bad news, so we can get out of the way. Also, I kind of missed this last week, so I wanted to kind of talk about David Ball of Soft Cell from Tainted Love. He passed away after an illness, not terribly old, but very sad. A much better band than the One Hit Wonder people think they are. Also, they just found out today, Scott Sorry, New York City rocker musician, passed away after a long battle with cancer, and just another gut punch for the hometown New York City people. Very sad. Also, kind of a personal note to me, the bodega cat from my local liquor store was killed by a fucking robot car by Waymo. I usually don't hate on these things because I know a lot of people that enjoy them. The Waymo apparently ran through a cat was kind of untethered, freely roamed the neighborhood at 16th and Valencia, and the owner was absolutely devastated. Was comforted by patrons of the store, but I can see how an amazing cat like this would affect your life if they have killed in front of you. Also, Prunella Scales, British actress, best known for Fawlty Towers, passed away after a very long illness. She was infirm for a very long time. So hilariously funny and smart. Sad to see her. Also, for all of you Nutella fans, the creator of Nutella has passed away, Francesco Ravella. Died at 97, so clearly eating extremely fattening hazelnut spread is the key to a long life. Sign me up for a jar. Celebrating birthdays this week, onto some more upbeat stuff. Uh, uh, Daniel Gillies of Silverchair had a birthday this week. Take the Down in the Juice Priest celebrated a birthday this week. Methius Jabs of Scorpions celebrated a birthday this week, which is pretty cool. Still out there rocking 60 years after their founding. Chad Smith, not Will Ferrell, but Chad Smith had a birthday this week from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, of Ozzy Osbourne album fame. Also, Alex Webster, arguably the best bassist in death metal from Cannibal Corpse, had a birthday this week. Love that guy. Had a great meeting with him a couple times. Neil Fallon of Clutch celebrates a birthday this week. Glenn Tipton of Judas Priest was also born this week. Also, Ad Rock from Beastie Boys celebrates a birthday this week. I think on Halloween, actually. Also, Gavin Rossdale of Bush celebrates a birthday this week. Pretty nice guy, apparently, from all things I've heard. Some fan people I like. Mikey D of Motorhead and Scorpions, also Scorpion Lines, also celebrated birthday this week. Chris Slade of AC/DC, a lot of drummers this week. Chris Slade of AC/DC had a birthday this week. I think I'm going to lose the mask finally. Okay. Good mask, huh? We'll talk about that later. Super 7 Hall. All right. So Chris Slade celebrates his birthday this week. Also, Frankie Iero of My Chemical Romance and LS Dunes has a birthday on Halloween. And Willow Smith turns 25. Who knew Willow Smith would be the best and most well-adjusted person in her family? But here we are. She is also 25 this week. And also would have had a birthday this week, Kevin DeBro of Quiet Riot fame, Scott Weiland of STP, and a bunch of other things. So, we try to pay tribute to people. We try to pay it forward whenever we can and remember the heroes that have left us. Once again, we love tips. I will drop the live stream tip in the comment section for all y'all. If you're feeling tipsy, anybody that's watching on the Tube Review can just send us a super thanks or a super chat, but we also take Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, all the things. And then if you want to have us listen to one of your songs live, especially all of y'all on TikTok, the best thing to do is to just drop into YouTube and put it in the comments with the super thanks. But we appreciate y'all. We are not corporate backed, but we do have some advertising money. And there you go. That is the deal. That is all the minutiae in the beginning of the show. Now it's on to the rest of the show. And we'll start by talking about features. Our features this week, first and foremost, we just dropped a playlist on our Spotify for the first time in quite a while. Deep Killer Cuts for your Halloween slay list. If you're having a party, watching movies, having friends over, going out to the bar, we dropped a deep cut slay list for you. So you want to check that out on our Spotify, but also on our website. Should be good to go. Sure, everything is connected hunky-dory here. I have to change out my podcast mic wire and do that tomorrow. But anyway, Also, some features we did this week. Walking Bombs, the musical catch-all project for our homie Morgan Y. Evans of Ghost Cult. Incredible part 2 of their albums, double albums, Blessings Bestrewn Part 2, what drops tomorrow on Bandcamp. We premiered the full album stream as well as a track-by-track discussion from Morgan. Really appreciate it. Morgan's great. We'll be doing it. So good. And he does some interviews for us on the site. We also, Human Missile Crisis. This is like one of the best band names I've ever heard. Dropped a brand new banger single, Snake in the Grass, from their upcoming new album, kind of garagey punk rock from Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. Also, some live streams we did this week in addition to this show. We again announced 2 more bands for the Mojave Experience Festival in Joshua Tree in March. Such a killer lineup. I'm looking forward to going to this. And I'm linking up with the producer of the festival, Patrick from the band Volume, to talk about some more collab ideas coming up soon. Also, the Sonic Temple full lineup dropped, and I did a deep dive analysis in a live stream all about that last night. You can watch that when you're done watching this. Also, the whole lineup is on our website. We also did since it's spooky season and Typo Negative is on the brain, and there's a lot of Typo Negative news coming, with the brand new live album we've been told about, and maybe finally members of the band are open to a tribute concert. We forecasted, myself and Wilcifer of Ghost Cult and Abysmal Hymns podcast, forecasted who could participate and sing and play bass a little bit in a potential Peter Steele Typo Negative tribute concert featuring members of the band that are still alive. So lots of fun there. People were really mad online about this forecasting. We just wishcast, educated wishing. We love Peter. We love Typo. No disrespect meant, but also it is what it is. All right. Also this week, I interviewed the French rock and metal artist Lucy Sue. Her debut album, Battle Station, is out now on Sphinx Records label. I also interviewed our old friend Stavros Giannopoulos of the Atlas Moth. I can't believe I said that correctly. And he has a new band called Motherless that's kind of a super group of Chicago underground metal artists, sludge, doom, DB, crust punk. Great interview with him, and he also is a toy fanatic. So lots of cool stuff there. And again, because I don't have enough to do, I am the co-host of the Glacially Musical podcast, Beer, Metal, and Swearing. We are back on our business this week, covering the early career of Alice in Chains, the Lane Staley years. So check that out. That runs tonight at midnight. All right, time for the news rundown. And as usual, what we do when we do the news rundown is we discuss metal festivals. Just a few this week. Again, Sonic Temple. Your Sonic Temple lineup is headlined by My Chemical Romance, Bring Me the Horizon, Tool, and Shine. And pretty cool. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to it. Again, Mojave Experience. Tune in every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern to hear 2 new bands. All of November, I'll be here with you. So I'm getting pumped. Damnation Festival is next week. I think this is the first one in a while we're not covering, but very exciting. COC is heading over to Europe for a tour, including this fest, Napalm Death, Perturbator, The Haunted, and a bunch of other killer bands. I am sad we're not covering it, but that is fun. Arctangent was announced, headlined by Igor, again, Perturbator, and many other bands. This looks absolutely stellar. Very excited about Arctangent Fest next summer. We always kind of have a hard time covering it because we're usually covering Bloodstock around the same time, but we're trying to expand our team in the UK and Europe to cover live events, and so hopefully we'll get that covered too. And this looked just really cool, not just because we have a podcast called Glacially Musical, but this is the Glacier Fest, and I thought this was really fun and cool looking. A lot of cool bands on there that I like, including the first. The Planet Desert Rock 6 is coming up this January. We'll talk more about that as we get closer. Wouldn't mind going out to see that. And that's all the festivals in brief this week. There's a bunch of stuff. Probably Rockville is going to get announced next week, which also means Incarceration's around the corner. We're going to get it all downloaded and done for you. Covered, accepted, analyzed, reported on, everything. All right. Rush tickets continue to go for astronomical prices. The band, by popular demand, keeps announcing more shows. So I know those initial fans are pretty pissed, but what can you do? But yeah, Rush. Jury's still out if I really want to go. We'll see when I get to the spring. Iron Maiden has added a few more shows to their upcoming tour. Megadeth, I stand corrected from last week. Anthrax is not on this whole tour. They're at the first few dates and the last few dates. So I would like for Anthrax to have been, expanded to the entire tour. But okay, hopefully that means Anthrax is going to play festivals and do some headline shows, because that's what I really want. Bad Omens has announced their big tour with Beartooth and President, and they are playing arenas. So now we have yet another band that has crossed over from metalcore into an arena headline band. We shall see if Bad Omens' hype and popularity translates to these big venues. We shall see. I bet they can do a great staging. Foo Fighters tickets went on sale for Europe. More shows are being announced for the U.S. There was a lot of speculation they would do Sonic Temple or Rockville. I bet anything they end up doing some of the other Danny Rumor festivals like Larry the Knight. Fair enough, Gary. Fair enough. I like that. I'm telling you. Also, Bon Jovi has added some more tour dates to their spring tour. And again, I know that John Bon Jovi, I have the Bon Jovi coffee table book that got sent to me. I finally got my hands on it this week. I'm going to crack it open next week when I get back from my weekend work. But, I'm worried about John Bon Jovi's health and his ability to perform shows up to the level that he always does. I know that their fans are crazy diehards. So, it'll be interesting to see how they do. But I'm wishing them the best. Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime, the final chapter, kicks off next week. I'm hoping to cover one of these shows. This is pretty fun also. It's Health, Youth Code, and Street Sects all doing the Industrial Worship Tour early 2026. Would love to see this tour come here. I just recently interviewed Street Sects. I hope to interview Help about their new album. They're doing things pretty effectively. Also, Wednesday 13's Mid-Death Crisis tour with the Nocturnal Affair, our pals, is kicking off next week, hoping to cover one of those shows. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, which is basically just called Palmer, performing the greatest hits of ELP, has a brief run of tour dates for Florida. Would be tempted to maybe see this tour if it was coming out. Twitching Tongues dropped their third annual Twitch Fits Misfits Covers EP, and they're having a Twitch Fits show in Hollywood on Saturday for some carryover Halloween fun. Pussifer, again, tickets are going on sale this weekend for the Pussifer tour dates. We also got a Perfect Circle tour dates for next summer. I'll talk about that next week. Soul Shade record release show is coming up at their tour. That is a cool band on Silent Pendulum Records. We've been doing a lot of stuff. Bummer news about the Stray Cats. Brian Setzer is apparently having a lot of health problems, and they have canceled their entire upcoming headline tour. These are 70-year-old rock guys and punks, and Brian puts out a lot of energy. He's great live. I love the Stray Cats. We've interviewed Slim Jim Phantom. And I would hope that Brian recovers and can rebook this tour for next year. But tough break, bro. This tour is underway already. This is Atomic Bitch Wax and Crowbot. Definitely go party down if this is coming to your town. And again, we're at the halfway point of the show, maybe a little bit more than halfway. Gonna do the quick run of the news again. If you're feeling tipsy, anybody out there, please give us a tip. We appreciate it. All right, so back. DJ Darkson, 85 is here. Scooter, what up? I am somehow not going live later for once. But anyway, in case you're inclined, some of our affiliate partners that you can help us help ourselves um, include Fable Beard Company. They're having a big Halloween sale. You don't want to miss out. Have a beautiful beard and smell great like I do. Don't be gross when you go to metal shows. Also, we're part of the Lambgoat Media Network from Lambgoat. The meaner version of Ghost Cult. Basically, any ads you see on our website, that's through Lambgoat. Check us out. Also, you are watching this except for TikTok on StreamYard. Stream like we do. You can get $10 off your subscription, and we can get $10 off of our next bill. So it's super Dutch door action. We like it. I hope you do too. All right, moving right along. We're on all the social media things. I hope you are too. Definitely check us out wherever you follow. I don't know how people really get their news that much anymore. I don't know if social media is kind of dead. We also have a newsletter. We send out stuff. Um, we're just trying to. I don't believe in just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, but it does feel like that sometimes. Okay, big news of the week: Megadeth's final song on their final album will be a bonus track cover of "Ride the Lightning" by Metallica. I have many thoughts on this. Do you have any thoughts on this? Feel free to drop a comment. I'm not sure if this is a good move or not. I just kind of shows, as my partner on Voice the Musical, Nick Cameron, said, it just shows insecurity and not confidence. I'm sure they'll kill the cover and do well. And Megadeth fans, Metallica fans don't even seem to care about it. Megadeth fans seem not confused. Like, why? Why not just put one more Megadeth song on the final? Wolf Van Halen's Mammoth Band put out their new album, The End. He's got a bunch of touring he's about to get announcing. He's on tour with Creed right now, who we covered last year. Great. I love this new Mammoth record. Really trying to get away from his early sound and do a lot more musical stuff here with the killer doing that. So I'm really glad. Also, Acid Bath just booked their first show ever, a headline show in the UK. They are opening for System of a Down all through Europe next year around the same time. Maybe other headline shows will pop up, but a headline arena show, again, Acid Bath. I'm sure this isn't for every city, but pretty cool. Also, Sun Don't Shine. Speaking of bands from NOLA, the supergroup made up of members of Type O Negative, Crowbar, and Down dropped a brand new single and announced their new album for January 2026 from our friends at Corpse Paint Records. Killer single. I'm really excited and hyped for this record for next year. Glad it's finally come. Great job by Corpse Paint Records, kind of putting it out there. This is wild. I don't know if you saw this in the news, but Ireland is now going to pay artists and musicians $1,500 a month basic universal income. Now, I know that that's a controversial topic, and you are as socialist as me, probably, but I'd love to see something like this happen in the USA. If you can prove you're in a working band or a talented artist or zine maker or choreographer or anything, visual art, filmmaker, whatever, you should be able to, the government should support you so you can make art that makes society better. I just believe this in my soul. Radiohead is about to kick off their first European tour in 7 years, and they're very usually tight-lipped about the band or anything about the band, but they were doing some light interviews, and they said, they were like grieving dead loved ones and a lot of burnout, and that's why they kind of went away from trying to be a live band and just make records. But it seems like this is the start of hopefully they get along well, nothing bad happens, and they continue to make new music and tour in the future. I think that would be very well. Type O Negative, we were telling you last week about the launch of their Universal Donor coffee line with Concept Cafes. We've reviewed a bunch of Concept Cafes coffees and more coming soon. We interviewed Mike Tonsetic, their founder. And so their coffee is officially live to order in time for Halloween. at typonegative.com and classicfas.com. Just some pop culture fun things. Godzilla Day is coming up on the 3rd. I highly recommend going back and rewatching Godzilla -1, especially in all black and white. It was phenomenal. Probably the best thing I've seen in a long time. Did not really love the Godzilla King Kong movie. It was okay for what it was. I didn't need it. Robert Englund is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame tomorrow for Halloween, Freddy. And also, Robert Englund was in one of my favorite TV things of all time, V, the original V series. Here's an interesting story. Dogma. We were talking a lot about this band. Dogma is a band that is kind of a gimmicky, evil satanic nuns. And some former members of the band called out their band manager and producer that it's kind of a industry plant. Thank you, bro. I have many punk shirts. This is one of them. Best deal in all of rock and metal. Go to a haunt show, go to the $10 bin and buy all the shirts you can afford to get. I think I've left the one day. But yeah, I may do a longer discussion about this Dogma thing because the kicked out members or former members kind of sounds like a Menudo, Milli Vanilli thing. Not that these artists are fake or anything. I'm not casting aspersions, but the word industry plant gets thrown around a lot on YouTube, and I don't necessarily believe that an industry plant is a thing. Like obviously Willow Smith is the daughter of a super famous musician, actor, and his famous actress wife. But and musician also. She had a metal band at one point with the Wisdom. And, she was bound to get into the arts and music and entertainment because her parents are entertainers. But maybe I'll tackle this next week if there's enough interest in a live stream on Dogma. Let me know what you think, Scooter, and anyone else watching. One of our favorite bands, The Last Martyr, the metalcore band from Australia, is dropping a new single tonight at midnight for Halloween, Brain Rot, with a music video. I am super stoked. I saw it early, and it's fire. So definitely check that band out for fans of Spirit Box and even technical death metal and Theos. Some of their musical is very heavy. K-Nack is back. Pure Rock K-Nack is back in LA and in Las Vegas. This is the legendary radio station from Los Angeles that put a lot of metal and heavy metal on the map specifically. And it's just super cool to have them back. I'm going to try to get an interview with their program. Discuss. Also today, celebrating the 45th anniversary of the release of Pac-Man, Google's Doodle has a Halloween-themed Pac-Man game you can play by clicking on it. Super fun. I lost like 20 minutes of my life last night just trying to play the game. It was hard. Difficulty set to 10. So we got the news last week that Cannabis Corpse was breaking up, and now I think we know why. Landfill is busy with Iron Reagan, who is back with a throwback lineup of one of their first lineups, as well as his band Morbicon, the death metal band, is about to drop a new album. So I think between those things, it's obvious why Cannabis Corpse is not coming back for a while. But a bummer to be sure. Also, this pissed me off to no end. I don't know if you're a fan of the band Nothing Face. I'm a huge fan. I listen to Nothing Face like every week. They're one of my top 25 favorite bands. They were super big in the late 90s and early 2000s. They started out as kind of a new metal Korn, cold chamber sounding band. They kind of became sort of a Pantera-y metal band. And they were a fantastic group. They had a huge charting album with their record Violence. They went on Ozfest. They did Tattoo the Earth. They opened for Slayer, Pantera, Soulfly, across a bunch of tours. And then they broke up, got back together, and broke up again. Their singer, Matt Holt, died in 2017. And that's the cliff notes on the band. But what happened this week pissed me off because Spotify got some AI slop group calling themselves Nothing Face to put a dance music song on the Nothing Face Spotify account. There's already enough people furious and fuming at Spotify for this. And shout out to the Nothing Face fan community on Facebook and Reddit that spotted this along the same time as I did. And shout out to them for keeping the flame going. There's some great groups supporting Nothing Face. Killer band. And very sad about the death of Matt Holt. It's going to be 7-8 years next year. Shitty. Our homie Don DeLamont dropped another new single, The Horse He Rode In On, today with Melissa Nadler on vocals. She also helped mentor him for this album. Don, you will see sometimes interview bands here on YouTube for Ghost Cult and write some reviews for us. So shout out to Don for his new album dropping in a few weeks. But Very killer Halloween single. And some creepy Halloween art, by the way. You should check it out. Damn, that's crazy. Now release the Epstein files. I just love this. I'm just making that my whole personality for the rest of the year. Okay. It is time for the New Music Friday. It's the time when we run through all the new music going on in the world coming out this week from rock and metal and associated genres. And I am going to read off the list to you. I guess Dave Mustaine put out like a video short about him talking about the Metallica cover, which is pretty wild. But anyway, here it is. Band title, band name, album title, record label, and if there is any color. Nathan Hammer, Utopia on Napalm Records for some power. Alpha Destroyer, Fastlane on Necromantic Press for some death metal. Probably my favorite record so far this week, Anna von Hauswolf, Iconoclast on Year 0001 Records. Araphael, The Enchanter on Nuclear War Now for some death metal. Archaic Thorn, Malicious Spears on High Roller Records. Asleep at the Helm, Ornate Resentment EP. Avatar, the great Swedish theatrical metal band Don't Go in the Forest on their own Black Waltz Records label. Bastard Cross, we reviewed that this week. Cross Ripper on Morbid and Miserable Records for some Death June, Death Black and Death Metal. Believe in Nothing, Rot on Church Road Records, great label, great band. Malak Cross Hotel for some gothy metal. Songs for Switches on Samad Pilot Records. Bloody Moon, Lost and Damned on Inverse Records. Creeper from the UK, Sanguivore 2, Mistress of Death on Spine Farm Records. 2 records from Damned by the Pope. Danheim Heimford on A Season Mist for your fans of Wardruna and Hylum. Let's see. Dwelling Below, Wearisome Guardians on Transcendent Obscurity Records. Caspacho, the progressive rock band, Magic 8 Ball on K-Scope Records. Going Off, Kill List 2 EP, self-released. Howling Giant, Great Stone of Doom band, Crucible and Ruin on Magnetic Eye Records, one of my favorite labels. Lunatic Soul, back from wherever. The World Under Unsun on Inside Out Music. Moonspell, Opus Diabolicum on Napalm Records, emphasis on the come if you're a Moonspell fan. ODC, Twisted Love on Black to Black Records, that's the label that has Biohazard and Megadeth. Let's see, Pile of Knives, Driven by the Blade EP, self-released. Primitive Man, another killer record this week. Observance, Relapse Records, maybe the heaviest sludge doom band in the world. Spite, New World Killer on Rise Records for some metalcore. Stillbirth, Survival Protocol, Rain Phoenix music. Trivium, the new EP, Struck Dead, killer thrash metal with grooves. I interviewed Hollow of this. Hey, Sick from the Crush, what up, yo? We're just running through the end of our show here, the new music out this week. Let's see, 2 unprocessed new album, Angel, it's the German deathcore band, pretty good. And then these 2 tribute albums. One is Killed by Death, a punk tribute to Motorhead on BMG Records, pretty killer. A lot of big name bands, Rancid and NoFX and people like that. And Spaceship Landing, a tribute to Caius on Witching Buzz Records, which I've also heard this one. Awesome. So that is all your New Music Friday stuff. Don't sleep on these things. And now it's time for the mailbag. And in our mailbag this week, I have stuff from Super 7. If you were here at the start of the show, I was wearing this spooky Halloween mask. Super 7 does toys and figures and masks and all kinds of fun gear and merch. And I don't go to the Super 7 store, even though it's in my neighborhood practically, because I would lose all my money there. But I went, and I want to share with you my Super 7 haul. I love this place so much. I love everything they do. And this is my second mask from them. I had appreciated the Black with Blue mask 2 years ago. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm a big Haunt fan. We've interviewed Trevor on our channel. Feel free to check it out. Go in the search bar on our homepage and look for that interview with Trevor William Church. So, yeah, just the very nice packaging kind of reminds me of the Halloween boxes of my childhood. Really fucking cool. And the Halloween costumes and makeups that used to come in a similar bag or a box like this. So yeah, that's the second compliment I got on this Haunt shirt. Thank you, Sick from the Kush and Scooter, of course, who is a regular every day. I'm gonna just put this down here. And here's my Super 7 bag. They gave me a shopping bag. And again, the Super 7 motto is we grew up with giant monsters, comic books, punk, science fiction, skateboarding, robots, and rebellion. No one made what we wanted, so we made it ourselves. We have a store in San Francisco near my house, and they have a store in San Diego near Comic Con. So what else is in my bag? What's in the bag? So I got that mask because it's Halloween time. I also got this Wolfman Super 7 officially licensed Universal Monster. Wolfman with this beautiful card, kind of looks like a G.I. Joe back cover, but it's also horror themed. Pretty incredible that they have these. I don't think they have the Bride of Frankenstein, but they have everybody else of the classic Universal Monster movies. It does have kind of like a G.I. Joe dossier on Larry Talbot, the Wolfman. I love the Wolfman. I'm going to be watching that this weekend to my girlfriend if she's watching. And then, so I got mask, the Wolfman figure, and then I got this shirt actually licensed. Cold Slither. Now, if you watch the channel, you know that I interviewed Gus Rios. You know him best. He toured with Death. He had been gruesome and Left to Die. And he has the band Cold Slither with Andy from KMFDM on drums and Ross and Matt Harvey from Exhumed on guitar and bass, along with Gus on guitar as Zartan. This is officially licensed, this shirt, but the Cold Slither band is a real thing, and they played Comic-Con New York and San Diego, and in costume as Zartan and the Dreadnoughts. I don't know if you were a G.I. Joe fan growing up, but I was, and this is my Cold Slither. Band of Vipers World Tour, Enterprise City, Cobra Island, Roca Beach, in the Himalayas, Springfield, and San Diego. And I think Springfield was the hometown also of Cobra. And again, like Springfield in The Simpsons, we didn't know what Springfield it was. So that's our show in a very manageable 37 or 38 minutes. That's my haul from Super 7. Thanks for being here another week. I know you could spend this time watching anybody else, and you watched me. So I really appreciate y'all, everybody that tuned in. Just a lot of gratitude over here on this side of the table. I'll be back next week with another one of these. We do a bunch of live streams all week. We got a bunch of band interviews coming up, big names, Testament, Trivium, and many more. And as we say at this juncture of the show, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, because it's a tough time in the world. And I'm going to dance a jig like Joe Hollenbeck on the way out. Y'all have a good weekend. Don't forget to drive safe.